Yeah, we got ourselves a real life house of cards. I was a fan of the show when it first came out. I think when they canceled Kevin Spacey when it went downhill, but the parallels, quite frankly, to what has been transpiring in our country today, basically a coup in the show. Kevin Spacey and his wife, he's ticked off. He wasn't made Secretary of State by the incoming president. He basically weasels his way into having him removed. It's a whole, similar to the whole Joe Biden stuff that's going on right now, all this politicking behind the scenes. But when that show first came out, I would say on the radio shows before I had um, podcasts, I said, this is pretty accurate, people. This is not fiction. This is real. This is what really transpires. And just for the past 24 hours. So the past 24 hours, it's almost too much. It's like a fire hose. It's a fire hose of information that's coming out, stories that are coming out that quite frankly, again, I'll talk about them here on the program. I really try not to get angry about them anymore because it's an exercise in futility. It really is. Um, I don't see things changing. I've been pretty straightforward here on the program that, for the most part, is one of the reasons why I left the Republican Party. Is that again, I go back to the Seinfeld bet you're rooting for laundry. You're just voting for what oligarchs are going to end up running the country at some point in time. I do think that I don't think Donald Trump is like that. And again, I really don't. I don't think that he is the type that buys into all of that crap. I really don't. I kind of think that separates him from everybody else. Um, again, I've made my disappointment with him, and again, him kowtowing to the deep state with COVID and some other issues, and most certainly his conduct on a regular basis ticks me off because again, um, keeps losing, quite frankly. But you have owners going to the old George Carlin bit that I've cited here plenty of times, and you can watch it happen. I'm going to give you another example. Yesterday, I talked on the show, talked about I'm a tree hugger, but I'm a real tree hugger because I actually want to see things done. I actually want progress. I understand how stupid this whole climate nonsense, this whole green, this carbon capture thing was from the get go. From the get go. And, it's funny, even on the television show House of Cards, Kevin Spacey's wife was played by Robin Wright in the show. She was an environmental activist. No, it's always been about money. I remember years ago. Oh, Wall Street Journal was pining for this too. Oh, we need to have a carbon exchange and carbon credits, and we should be trading carbon. And even now, you can buy your way out of environmental purgatory by spending money and buying carbon credits. Remember Al Gore selling them on his website during his live Earth concert. So you're paying for air. You want to trade air. You understand the dollar signs that Wall Street saw with that? Oh my God, they wanted that to happen. But again, we're watching what's taking place right in front of us right now. And let's even talk about just how crooked these people are. And you want an example of how this has nothing to do, all the policies that they're telling you, oh yeah, we're for this and and again, I get this from listeners out there telling me that there's going to be some sort of communist takeover if Harris and Walz win. No, there's not. Okay, there's not. Oh, sure, will they push things further to the left? But it's not so much about the left. It's more about control than it is anything else. It's all about power. It's about money. That's it. It's about money. And I don't understand why people can't get their arms around that. And you want a prime example of this. If it was really about issue, really cared about anything, why are they doing everything and anything that they can to get elected? Anything. Cheat. This is it's insane. Again, Robert F. Kennedy, he came out, accused the left of dismantling democracy by rigging elections through the courts and media. Again, he's been out talking about that. Let's just talk about what's happened over the past 24 hours. Democrats are forcing him to remain on the ballot in Michigan and Wisconsin so they can try to take votes away from Trump. This is all up until that point in time. They were trying to force him off the ballot. He spent, $10 million to defend himself from Democrats who wanted to keep him off ballots. Within the past 24 hours, Jack Smith filed an indictment against Trump. Again, this is 70 days before the election. We talked about Mark Zuckerberg and the various different slander campaigns. Cornel West came out, confirmed that Kamala Harris and the DNC tried to bribe him with money and a job in the administration if he dropped out, endorsed Kamala. Again, I don't know why anybody thinks this is a surprise. The surprise is that people are actually not taking the money. That's a surprise. And I got a great deal of respect for Cornel West. I mean, I'd agree with him on many of his points, but guess what? He he didn't take the money. Okay? He didn't act like a two-bit cheap, I don't even say hooker. I have more respect. I have more respect for hookers than I do these people in Washington, D.C. I do. I have more respect for them than I do for these people in D.C. And you're watching now the lawsuits that are flying here, there, and everywhere. I don't even know. How do you even go about teaching this in social studies class? What's going on? How do you teach this in social studies class and explain this to kids in high school at this point in time? And then you get this as well. Okay, how is this even acceptable? How did CNN even agree to this? Dana Bash. Dana Bash, her husband also signed that letter that about Hunter Biden's laptop was Russia disinformation. Her husband. And again, I've talked about how incestuous the media is, how disgusting it is. Kamala Harris is bringing walls to her first interview. I was making fun of the fact that, kids were all of a sudden bringing their parents to their first job interview with them. Remember we were going off on that here on the show not too long ago. That's kind of like the same thing. Kamala Harris can't handle it on her own. I want to share with everybody some facts. Some facts that, again, these things are all true. This is not opinion. None of this stuff is disputable. This is Kamala Harris. This is what you're not being told. She's not being vetted. Kamala Harris is the child of two foreign-born college professors. She grew up in a wealthy household. Nothing wrong with that. I don't have any problem with that. That's okay. Okay, but that's a fact. Okay, don't let her tell you they all rough upbringing, all this stuff. No. Her mother comes from the Brahmin caste, the Indian Brahmin caste, which is the top of the India's caste system. And I'm not going to explain the caste system. You can look into it yourself to understand it. Her father comes from very wealthy Jamaican slave plantation owners. It's fact. Her father was also a Marxist economist. Fact. She grew up in Montreal. At Montreal, this idea that she lived some sort of African American or experience, American working class experience, it's not true. She failed the California bar exam. She rose to power in California because she was supported by a very influential politician, Willie Brown, who she was sleeping with, which helped advance her career. Fact. Again, you know what? I'm just telling you facts. You can do with them what you may. Okay. As California's Attorney General, she's been accused of numerous unfair and unethical legal practices and wrongly denied many unjustly incarcerated black men their freedom and liberty. She was ranked, this fact, by nonpartisan political analysts when she was senator as the most extreme leftist in the Senate. Very well funded her 2020 campaign that went nowhere. And it was due to the fact that she unlikability and her inability to offer cogent campaign positions of substance. Joe Biden explicitly stated that he hired Harris because she's a black woman. Okay. DEI hire. Okay. All right. Whatever. Her staff turnover rate. Imagine if Donald Trump had a staff turnover rate of 90%. 90%. I think only one that's ever close to that might be Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Okay. 90%. Where these staffers went or what type of riot act they were read to keep their mouths shut after they left, I don't know. Media can't find a single accomplishment. They've already taken off the fact that she was appointed border czar. They've erased that. Lowest VP approval ratings of any VP since Spiro Agnew. She knew that Joe Biden was failing and incompetent and took no action. It's all facts. We know all this. They did something to force Joe Biden aside. We all know that. She has never received a single primary vote in favor of her candidacy. She was spurned by most of the Democrat Party. Again, they didn't like Tim Walz, but she went with him, even despite the negative personal baggage. Never worked a private business in her life. No campaign positions. I can go on. Her basic campaign thing, it's not even hope and change. It's brat and joy, whatever that means at this point in time. And you're watching, again, the positions change. And my question is, are they even her position? Or are they just her people, her campaign's positions? And I've said this before, okay? She's not running the country. She's not, just as much as Joe Biden's not running the country now. We all know this. We all know that he's not running the country now. Okay? Our media should probably do is they should probably reach out to China and some of these other countries to find out who's actually running the show. Okay? We've seen Joe Biden. He's done. Okay? Who's running the show? It's the Obama people. It's the Hillary Clinton people. They're the ones that are running the country right now. I mean, Hillary Clinton, losing that election to Donald Trump was probably one of the best things that could have happened to her, because then she stepped in as basically president, which she's probably running the show right now, along with Obama, okay, without any pressure, without the media. Kamala Harris came out for a bloody border wall. How many times in the well, she didn't come out. She got her campaign came out. You know what they also they came out? No EV, EV mandates anymore. But just not too long ago, she was for EV mandates. Just counting on people again. You're counting on the stupidity of the American voters. It's a good bet. It's a good bet. She can say whatever she wants. She could come out, her campaign could come out and say that she is for free beer. And people might believe it. They might. I hated this when it happened, as it went crazy, went viral, and a lot of talk radio. When remember the Obama phone. I want my Obama phone. I get vote for Obama. He's going to give me a phone, and it works. It works. That's where we're at today, folks. I mean, that's why you're seeing all of these lawsuits to make sure they can get everybody out to the polls, make it as easy as possible to energize and get the dumb vote, then the lethargic vote that people normally wouldn't go out to vote. Oh, yeah, I'll fill this out. There's going to come a point in time, don't doubt me here, that they will they'll come up with a way. Hey, you can interactively vote halftime at the NFL football game on Sunday. Mark my words. Hey, we got a lot of people watching. We know how many Americans watch football. We'll get them to vote. Or during some sort of, hey, you want to get another vote? Class A, during some reality show on Bravo at some point in time. Stay tuned. Okay, rather than have commercials about it, you can vote in the presidential election. You don't think that they're thinking about these things? We get the government we deserve. I get yelled at by listeners and people on the right, strongly worded emails, and the country is going to hell in a handbasket. The hell am I supposed to do? Okay, I've been doing this for a long time here. Okay, I don't know if the tide is going to turn. I don't know when people are going to wake up. If we do, we do. We don't, we don't. Okay, I get up every day. I bust my butt, try to do the right thing, and, I'm going to let the chips fall where they may, but it's not in my hands, people. It's not. I don't know. Maybe a suggestion. Maybe go to church. Just throwing it out there. I know it's kind of off the beaten track, but I don't know. You might have to say your prayers over stuff like this. It's in God's will. What's going to I don't know what to tell you. Read a little bit of history. Okay? Empires come and empires go. And if I was a betting man right now, I would be betting that we're on the go. Oh, yeah. Again, does that mean our overall economy is going to last? I've talked about this before. Rome went from a republic to an empire. It changed. And I think we're on that side of empire right now. It's an oligarchy, okay? This is not a capitalist system that we're operating. It's not. I don't care what anybody tells you. Jeff Tucker from the Brownstone Institute made some really good points today. And his points, kind of reiterating some of the things we made before. But I want to share with you this. It's worthwhile. Short list of ways in which the U.S. system does not comport with some ideal type of capitalistic marketplace. Governments have become a main customer of tech and media platforms, instilling an ethos of political deference and cooperation, resulting in surveillance, propaganda, and censorship. That's not capitalist. The U.S. has a medical cartel that works with regulatory agencies and official institutions to impose poisons on the public, charge outrageous prices, cooperate with business cartels to block alternatives, and promote addiction to ill health. Yep, spot on. We have an educational system that is mostly government funded, blocks competition, forces participation, wastes students' time, and pushes a political agenda of compliance and indoctrination. Agricultural subsidies that build vast industries that crush smaller farming and capture the regulatory apparatus and foist bad food on the public. A wildly complicated and confiscatory system of taxation that punishes wealth accumulation and blocks social mobility in all directions. Fiat paper money, floating exchange rates, back from 1971. Okay, I was born in 1971. A lot of great albums came out in 1971, but this fiat paper thing, no, it's not an album, but it wasn't good. Give the government unlimited funds, create inflation in currencies that never rise in value, and provide foreign central banks investment capital to make sure international accounts never settle. Court system invites extortionist litigation and can only be fought with deep pockets. A patent system that grants private industry production cartels and stops competition for everything from pharmaceuticals to software to industrial processes. As for authentic property rights, they are weaker than ever and can be overridden or even abolished with the stroke of a pen, such that not even landlords can evict tenants or small business can be open for business. Not to mention the fact that you really don't own your own property. You are a serf peasant living on the Lord's manor. If you don't pay your property taxes, they take your property. So do you own your property? No, you don't. A bloated federal government supports 420 agencies that lord over the whole commercial society, ballooning up compliance costs for entrepreneurs and creating vast uncertainty about the rules of the game. Again, talked about all of these things for years. Compare that to a minefield and how entrepreneurs have got mines that they're looking at every single day, and the government moves them on a regular basis. Again, it's not capitalism, people. Public-private partnership. I can go on and on and on. Okay. Again, I'm not Mary Poppins, no spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. It's terrain, folks. It's terrain. I'm dealing with it. We're all going to have to deal with it. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.